You're welcome to the Policy Council. My name is Opeyemi Agbaje. Today we look at the state of the nation and the world, but today I do it only with one guest, one of my consistent and regular guests on this program. Enjoy the show. You're welcome back to the Policy Council. My guest today is not a guest on the Policy Council. He is a CEO of Fathers Group, one of our regular discussants, but today I have him all to myself. You're welcome to the program.
It's always a pleasure, Opeyemi.
Okay, now let's start with the global environment. And of course, number one agenda on the global outlook is the US elections. Obama or Romney, who are you voting for?
Interesting. I can't vote for any other president but Obama.
Okay.
But not just because of the sense of affinity or one feels with him being really an African president ruling America or leading America, but for the fact that if you listen to both of them, Obama is really best for America. He's rather better for America at this time. Okay,
let me ask you, let me dig deep into that discussion. I know you well enough to know that if you lived in the US, you'll be an evangelical voter.
Yes.
How come that doesn't matter because the president is a black man? Because the evangelical voters in the US, 90% of them will vote for Romney.
But I mean, why Romney? Because Romney is a Mormon. He's not even an evangelical Christian. And if anything, Obama is a Christian. I know him to be a Christian believer in Christ. Obama doesn't believe. He usually use a Mormon Bible, and worship Mormoni. So I think there's some. Unfortunately, I've seen the evangelical voters who are inclined to vote Republican because of their stance on issues like being pro-life and being anti-gay. You mouth issues of about being pro-life or being anti-gay, and then we begin to see scandals of secret gay liaisons and all that. Whereas the issues, what are really the issues now that should face the American voter is the issue about the economy, the issue of the welfare of the people, the job creation, even and
those issues on which Romney has greater credibility than Obama.
Well, people have said that
economy.
On the economy, well, because he's a businessman and has actually been involved in business, you can understand why in the debate, Romney will be more sure-footed and be more articulate in advancing his economic policies. But really, it's all talk, because the truth is that if you look at where Obama has taken the country from to where it is today, he's made quite some progress. I mean, the last statistics on the states of employment shows that there's a lot of improvement.
The unemployment rate is exactly where it was when Obama became president, 7.8%.
But you have to realize that what Obama has done is like a vehicle that was on the cliff that was about to go over. You had to pull back first before you even begin to rebuild. Things went so bad during the Bush era that I really personally think Obama has done quite well. And I think the American people really know that in their hearts that this is the guy that has their interest at heart. This is the guy that empathizes with them.
The polls are tied at 47-47.
That is ironic, really, and that's why sometimes you wonder whether the things driving the poll is really the empirical evidence of what these two guys can offer, or are there other factors, sentimental factors, even repeat factors, and so I don't think but see, this issue of likability, see, human beings are still, I believe that the American people will still vote for Obama.
Let me check your ease.
Yeah.
I'm inclined towards voting for Romney if I had a vote in the US. So I don't think it's about racism.
Okay.
I wonder if Obama understands the economy at all. That's one. Two, I think that the issue of gay marriage is such a fundamental social issue that it can even override many other considerations in the mind of someone who is sensitive about the structure and future of society.
Well, baby, I'm sure that's the Christian evangelical side of you that is bringing that up.
It doesn't have to be. The Muslims don't support gay marriage as well.
Well, obviously, it's the religious part of it that's bringing that up. My views on personal view on gay marriage or even homosexuality. But see, the thing is that, unfortunately, I think the forces driving those things in the world stage, frankly speaking, are actually bigger than Obama or Romney.
George Bush, who left said he wanted a constitutional amendment to define marriage as between a man and a woman.
But have you checked the poll of what the American people think about that? Unfortunately, you see, the West and America, particularly, they love to call themselves post-Christian now, and you find that the liberals are actually winning the arguments in the political space and in the media on such issues as abortion and such issues as gay marriage. So this is bigger than Obama or Romney.
Let me take a final issue on which I thought you in particular would be concerned. Obama, Susan Rice, Hillary Clinton, their stance on Boko Haram.
I think they have been misinformed, and that's because there are people obviously linked with Boko Haram and who support Boko Haram in Nigeria, who have sold the lie to the United States and some Western countries that Boko Haram is a consequence of poverty, and that I mean, remember who was the one of the Carson, or who was it that
Johnny Carson
that was saying that they should start the Ministry of Northern Affairs. That shows that they really don't understand what the issues are.
Now, do you want to entrust global security to people who couldn't understand Boko Haram?
But do the people in the Republican Party hold a different view from this Obama administration?
It's the same naivety. Well, about Boko Haram that manifested in Susan Rice, Johnny Carson, Hillary Clinton, and Obama, thinking that Libya was a spontaneous demonstration.
But back to Boko Haram, I don't think that the Republicans have a different view from what the administration says, because it's like if you listen to the Council of Foreign Relations and the Nigerian experts they have there,
John Campbell,
you find that this is the mainstream thinking of America, that this Boko Haram is social poverty and all that. So I don't think it's just the thinking of the Democrats in this present administration. On the issue of Libya, yes, there's obvious evidence now that the Obama, in terms of his initial statements and all that, maybe he was not properly informed or properly briefed, before he came out and said some of the things that have now become embarrassing for the party. But the issue is that it was an unfolding situation, and we must be realistic. This things happened so far that if you were president, you probably would have said the same things he said.
I knew. Indeed, I wrote in my article, a day after that, I wrote the words, anyone who thinks this is a spontaneous issue of a cartoon is irredeemably naive. A day after I wrote that, Susan Rice said, and I don't have the benefit of intelligence. I remember your column.
I remember the article you wrote about the Obama naivety when it comes to foreign policy. But see, it's not about naivety. Just that the Republicans are hawkish in the way look at what Romney is saying about China. I mean, can you imagine you are owing China all the money you are owing, and you have the guts to begin to threaten China? He's going to come to power. If he does, he won't win the election. But if he does get to power, he's going to find that he will go cap in hand, beg it, and say, "Please forgive me, I was only playing politics." Because the reality on the ground is that when you're on the campaign trail, you can speak the way Romney is saying. I mean, look at even the fact. Look at how when he went to the Olympics. Look at what he was saying about UK, about the biggest ally of the US. Look at what he's saying about Iran.
He was in England at that time. Yeah, so it was the liberal press trying to make a big deal.
In fact, Romney is much more naive about issues in foreign policy or issues of foreign policy that more than Obama can be.
But Romney as a Republican, will probably has access to better quality advice.
You see, well, that is debatable whether the Republicans have.
The liberals tend to have a group of dreamers in the State Department,
Obama
everywhere,
has achieved
thinking in a romantic way about the world.
Look at how Egypt played out, even Libya, and now Syria. The point is that what Obama has been saying is that this approach where America wants to go it alone and be the world's policeman, not carry lose their allies, its allies, and not carry others along. Now there's a shift from that, because
is it working? America simply spent its resources, its power, to enthrone the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Well, to enthrone Islamists.
But that's democracy. That's the folly of democracy. If the Egyptian people believe that the Muslim Brotherhood, because they fair election and this guy won, that's the folly of democracy.
But I don't have to use my money to empower groups that act and think contrary to mine.
But have you not seen a shift in how...
Now, the Muslim Brotherhood president in Egypt has visited Iran, Saudi Arabia, and China.
Yes.
And Hillary Clinton has gone to Cairo and has been booed and heckled. That cannot be sensible foreign policy.
But you know what? You see, you have to understand that a nation like Egypt is strategic to America, and Egypt knows it. Have you not noticed that even President Morsi is not as combative as he was when he was campaigning?
Yesterday,
has dawned on him.
Yesterday, he said amen in public to a prayer that the state of Israel should be wiped out.
He's in transition. He will learn. Because he's going to find out that he cannot even afford Israel being an enemy. Because that's just the reality. I mean, he's going to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is providing aid and all that. In fact, he's going to be the biggest champion to actually curtail the excesses of the Muslim Brotherhood, because he's now smelled the coffee and he's waking up that, look, there's a difference when you are an activist and you are projecting some ideology before you enter government. The reality of the situation has dawned on him now. Yes, that statement about his name to such, I think it might have also been paid to the gallery.
Let's take a final question on foreign policy.
Okay.
Mali. The UN has authorized intervention. The AU and ECOWAS are working. What are your views about that?
I'm very happy that the UN Security Council took this decision it took, and the AU and ECOWAS are working on dealing with that Mali situation. That Mali situation can potentially destabilize the whole of West Africa, because I mean, with the insurgency we are seeing of Islamism in West Africa, with Boko Haram, and then with their connection with Al Qaeda
and Al-Shabaab in Somalia,
it is a dangerous situation that must be nipped in the bud. And I'm happy that the UN Security Council is not choosing with kiki gloves, and that there's a military arrangement to intervene. Intervene there.
Let's take this time out after this extended discussion about foreign policy. We'll be right back.
Who knows Abi better thing? Abi who know like better thing? All these fine things where they see so. Now money government they take do now. Abi, I think it's like, I mean, excuse me, I dey pay my tax. I dey do a thing, I dey pay my tax. Say you don't pay your own tax. If you pay your tax, I pay.
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
Welcome back. It's the Policy Council. I'm having an exciting debate with Eiz Eyeye, CEO of Faros Group. Eiz, let's talk about domestic security policy issues. Starting with Lagos and the Okada riders, who have been restricted from some routes in the state, but they are enraged and they're actually destroying public property and BRT buses. What do you think about this?
Look, motor bicycles were never made for public transportation. It's an aberration that in Nigeria and some African countries that is the case. And I'm happy that some state governors in this country have banned them. Abuja FCT banned them completely. River State.
Most of the South and Southeast.
I think the governor of Lagos is actually very empathetic with them in restricting them just from certain roads. If you consider how many people have died from Okada accidents, been maimed because of Okada accidents, even those that wear helmet, have you noticed that they don't even strap it on? Look, these guys, they are a menace. Have you not noticed even the improvement in the traffic situation in Lagos since this happened? My only concern is that the government should have prepared better for this for implementation of this policy by deploying more buses on the roads where the Okadas have been restricted from. But personally, I actually advocate a complete ban. Even the Keke Mawa, I think Lagos State should focus on its transport policy of in providing mass transportation, deploying buses, BRT buses and the lag buses, on more roads, not just the main corridor, and see how to improve transportation. The reason why there seems to be public sympathy for Okada is because of the hardship the people are experiencing. In fact, those Okada riders, they can be retrained. You know, although some of them, I mean, those ones that came from Nigeria, not that have that's whether
they are interested
because they are, you know, some they are not educated. But students who are doing this job, there are some you know, there are people that have some education or something that you could actually retrain, make them bus drivers.
I took up an official of the state government on this particular point you made, and I was told that the government gave them the option, one, of forming a cooperative to run BRT buses, which they refused to do, offered them then to come into farming schemes operated by the state government, in which there was space for people. They said no. Offer them the third, there are 17 skill acquisition centers in the state. Let your members choose a skill. We will train them in these centers, and they said no.
I think that's because they actually did not think the government would go ahead and implement the policy. You know, because I mean, somehow there has been this romance between Okada riders and the government. I mean, I remember if there's a picture circulating on Facebook about, you know, when you see Governor Fashola and in his motorcade, and then the horde of Okadas, you know, Okada riders following him during one of his campaign. I think the Okada riders never thought that the government will actually make good his threat or his policy and implement this. I think that's why they probably were recalcitrant in all those discussions. I'm sure if that thing were to be brought again on the table, they'll be glad to
happy to consider it.
Okada riders are a major security threat in this country. I mean, assassins, armed robbers, Okada is their choice of transport. Yes. So I believe that the government has done something very strategic. Even the security threat alone is enough to ban them. Yeah.
Let's take very quickly the issue of Senator Zana and the Boko Haram. Senator Zana sits in the National Assembly. He's the second senator from Borno State to have been implicated somewhat in matters of Boko Haram. He has admitted donating some money for rams to Boko Haram. What do you have to say?
In fact, I wonder how much more over these years. I really wonder how much Senator Ahmed Zana has donated to Boko Haram for different causes. You know, really, because, and I'm wondering how much of the money was used for salary, how much was used for their bombing activities. I believe God is exposing them, frankly speaking, because we must give kudos to our security agencies for what has happened. But clearly, Senator Ahmed Zana cannot extricate himself from obvious complicity in this matter.
One former governor of Yobe State,
he threatened that if the budget for the Northeast is not enhanced, to quote him, he said that Boko Haram activity will increase, inshallah. I thought that was seditious. And I really understand sometimes why the government is tolerant of those kind of people who make such statements
in support.
How can a serving senator make that kind of statement? What is this link with the Boko Haram? The president, he has the opportunity now to make good. He has said that by July, Boko Haram will end. We are now in October, entering November. It is now time for him to say, okay, before Christmas, because if he deals hard, of course, following the law with all these people who are obvious financiers. Look at Senator Zana. Apart from the fact that he knew Shaibu Bama, his nephew, was wanted all this while, he just sent him, he claimed he sent that to his house, and that the man even came back 2 weeks ago, and all that, and that he was a drug addict. Why did he not report? Why did he not go and report him to the authorities that, oh, this is my cousin, this is my nephew that you want, that is wanted. This is give some information, and then he's been the one
complaining loudly,
castigating the JTF, you know, complaining about alleged killing of innocents. I mean, it is ridiculous and even very upsetting. I think, I'm not a lawyer, but I really think that Zana has become the smoking gun, and I only hope, because this has happened before, where Senator Ndume, you know, he's back in the Senate now, even though he doesn't talk anymore there. But Senator, he was arrested, put on trial, even Modu Sharif, the former governor of Borno State. So I really don't understand why the government is still deterring to deal with this
on that deterring note. Let's take a final break. We'll be right back.
Government wants our city to become a mega modern city, and so government is providing modern markets for us to carry out our business. Now, this requires money, So we need to pay our taxes to help government to help us. I pay my taxes. I hope you've paid yours. I pay. Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back. Let's talk about the economy, the 2013 budget, and the oil price benchmark controversy between the National Assembly and the presidency. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, I'm happy that for once we are seeing the budget being discussed in the month of October, and I commend the government and the Minister of Finance who had made that one of our priorities. The fact that they can actually submit the budget as early as they've done, that's good. On the issue of the benchmark, I think the National Assembly, I'm sympathetic and actually share the position of the government, because yes, you have a medium-term economic framework, which the National Assembly has looked at and said, okay, it should be $80 per barrel and all that. But how did you come about $80 per barrel? The $75 being recommended by being put forward by the government was based upon empirical analysis and based upon econometric factors.
Yeah. By the way, let's remember the Senate said $78. The rep said 80. So even that position needs to be reconciled within the National Assembly.
I suspect that the government will concede to the Senate, because $78 per barrel is not too unreasonable.
Reasonable.
Yes, and if you look at how the market for oil is going right now, I mean, yes, the price has gone up traded over $100 for quite some time. But you see, this is still a very unstable market, and we should not be carried away because of how much more revenue becomes available for sharing, and then you begin to impose a certain situation.
In fact, let me tell you a his. When I saw the $75 per barrel proposal, my own instinct, until I started hearing people shout for 80, was that it was optimistic, given the realities about the global economy. I
actually think it's optimistic because you really cannot. You see, the depression in the West is not abating. The rating agencies just downgraded some French banks. So the prognosis for the world economy is still not quite good.
And then China and India and Brazil are slowing down.
They are slowing down. So you find that the demand for crude in the coming year may not be as robust as it has been. This affects what the excess crude account will be. I mean, we are told a few weeks back that they now have about $8 billion.
And Okonjo-Iweala wants it to go up to 20 billion.
Yes, which is, and then the issue of the foreign reserve, which has firmed up to $42 billion, and she has a target of $50 billion. I want to tie this to the issue of the sovereign wealth fund, because I still think that there's a constitutional issue that has not been resolved. The case that the governors brought to the Supreme Court about the legality of the law that sets up that sovereign wealth fund, is still something that needs to be addressed, because it's not just enough to have passed the act. Howbeit, with the gentlemanly agreement they had with the governors, but they need to amend the constitution to allow that kind of concession, because I think that that's where the government should focus on, so that they don't find that yes, they put in place a board for the sovereign wealth fund authority, and then at the end of the day they find that there are legal and constitutional hindrances to its performance.
Thank you very much. It's been a exciting debate. There's one issue, power privatization, which I'm excited about, which we couldn't talk about, but then there'll be another occasion. It's been a fantastic discussion. Globally, the US elections affects the whole world, and we're right in Nigeria to take an interest in it. Whether it's Obama that eventually re-elected, or it's Romney that comes in, what we should begin to look out for is our national interest. How does this person affect Nigeria's national interest? The situation in Mali is important, and like we agreed on the show, good development that now action may soon be taken. Domestically, we're still not sure how to tackle terrorism. But now we know, perhaps as a fact, that important people in the region, in politics, are involved in what is going on. The economy, there'll be some positives, and there continue to be negatives. But we hope that the debate over the budget is resolved quickly and the budget is passed before January 2013. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.